photos and whatnot, walk downstairs to vehicles, and then we'll go up some lunch.
Okay.
All right. So, without further ado, the Medal and Veterans Badge presentation to Mr. Samson Kiilu Mumina. Firstly, the Medal for Suez Canal Zone service. For some years, veterans expressed a wish for a medal to be instituted retrospectively for service in the Suez Canal Zone during the early 1950s. This proposal resulted in a number of comprehensive reviews which were carried out during the 1990s on behalf of the MOD by the Army Historical Branch. Although the surviving records, the vast majority of which had been sent to the Public Record Office at Kew for retention and release to the public domain, were incomplete, there was evidence that General Sir Brian Robertson, the Commander-in-Chief of the Middle East Land Forces at the time, had made a tentative inquiry about the possibility of a campaign medal in 1952. It was assumed that the matter was discussed by members of the Army Council out of committee, and then they decided that there was no case to justify a medal at that time. However, there was no firm evidence to prove that the request received proper consideration. While successive governments have been prepared to hold the Committee on the Grant of Honours, Decorations and Medals, or HD Committee's what's called line of non-retrospection, there was a growing feeling in the present government that while many other campaigns from veterans for new or modified medals had at least been considered departmentally at some point, it was not certain that the case for Canal Zone medal had received such treatment. In the summer of 2002, the Prime Minister asked the then Cabinet Secretary and Chairman of the HD Committee to look into the matter. He held a meeting with MPs and selected representatives of the major Canal Zone veterans organisations. Subsequently, the then Parliamentary Under-Secretary for State for Defence and Minister for Veterans Affairs responded to a written parliamentary question which was tabled in the House of Commons on the 23rd of July 2002 on the subject of the Canal Zone medal. He said that the government considered it to be important to respect the principle that there was a clear, demonstrable decision taken within 5 years of the campaign that a GSM should be awarded. The case should not be reopened if this was the case. However, the evidence relating to consideration of the GSM for the Suez Canal Zone in the early 1950s was less clear. In view of the exceptional circumstances, a subcommittee of the HD Committee, under chairmanship of General Montgomery of Craigie Bank, was formed to reopen the case for an exceptional award of the GSM for the Suez Canal Zone without creating a wider precedent or reaching long-standing principles which underpinned the making of such award. Finally, on the 11th of June 2003, in answer to a written question in the House of Commons, the Prime Minister announced that the subcommittee of the HD Committee had recommended the award of a Naval General Service Medal 1915 to 62 and the General Service Medal 1918 to 1962 with a new class for service in the Suez Canal Zone between the 16th of October 1951 and the 19th of October 1954. The HM Forces Veterans Lapel Badge. The HM Forces Armed Veterans Lapel Badge was launched in May 2004 by the then Minister for Veterans to raise the profile of veterans by assisting the wider public to recognise them. The first Veterans Badge was issued to Lord Healy, a veteran of the Battle of Monte Cassino on the 10th of May 2004, which initiated the rollout of the badge to the generation who served in the Second World War. Since then, eligibility to apply for the badge has been extended in sequential phases, and now all veterans are eligible to apply. The badge is an enamelled, engraved, pinned lapel badge featuring the words HM Armed Forces Veteran, which encompasses the tri-service anchor, cross swords and eagle motif. Its symbolism is intended to unite all veterans in recognising the commonality of their service, to encourage a sense of unity and community between surviving veterans, and to ignite public recognition of our veterans and their continuing contribution to our society. Now, moving on to Mr. Samson Kiilu Mumina. Mr. Samson was in Fanara, Egypt, 1953 to 1955. His service number was 61221, and he was with the HM Commonwealth Forces from Kenya. Born in 1934, Samson Kiilu Mumina joined the King's Africa Rifles Regiment in 1952, trained at Athi River and McKinnon Road, along with Mombasa Road. After training, the King's African Rifles soldiers took a train to Mombasa Harbour for departure on one of the British ships. The voyage took them to Eden, and then from there to Suez Canal. There were about 2,000 British Kenyan troops involved. At the time, Egyptian workers were on strike and were no longer unloading the cargo from the British ships. The Kenyan troops became the unloaders. To Stationed at Karen Camp in Fanara, Lance Corporal Samson Kiilu Mumina worked with the British soldiers to complete this vital task. He was discharged on September 13, 1955 as a Lance Corporal, and his discharge certificate indicated that his military character was very good. His service qualifies him for the General Service Medal 1918 to 1962 with Suez Canal Zone clasp, the Veterans Badge, and the gratitude and respect of the United Kingdom. And now ask, would you like to stand up, Samson?
Well, Lance Corporal 61221, Mr. Samson Kiilu Mumina. It gives me real pleasure as a member of Her Majesty's Forces today to present you formally with your GSM medal. And I should just say that the fact that it is also, with your lapel badge, a recognition of your status as a veteran gains real importance at the moment, bearing in mind how we are emphasising the role of veterans in our societies. And this is very much over here in America, but is tangible back in the United Kingdom as well. And I know you've done this since you left the forces anyway as a good veteran, but this is signifying all that service as well. So, congratulations, sir. There we go. I tell you what, if I can I get you to hold that in your left hand?
Left hand.
In your left hand. And if I shake your hand, is that all right?
Right. In front of the flag.
Should we come this way, Samson? We'll come in front of the flag. I've got your hand. Come here. Come this way a bit. This way a bit. This way. We'll come in front of the flags.
Just a little bit.
Is that all right? Brilliant.
Yeah, and then turn.
There we go. If I do that. Can you see the medal?
Yes. Beautiful.
Is that all right? Mm-hmm. And he was sent off by his father, who said, I want nothing more to do with you. You go and work your own way.
Yes.
And he worked his way up through, I don't think he went through Machakos, but he ended up in Thika. And he worked on a farm there for a bit.
Right.
And that sowed a seed of interest for the future. Right. He then went and built a farm in Nakuru, up on the escarpment, looking down. And that farm was a pyrethrum farm.
Oh, yeah.
And he expanded it into a dairy farm.
Okay.
And he built a school up there as well, at a place called Tembea. Do you know Tembea?
Okay.
That's right. And whilst he was there, he very foolishly met an Indian Army general's daughter, who became my grandmother, and married her. And her family had been posted from India to Kenya. And he was serving there, and so he married her. They had two daughters, my mother being the eldest, who was born in whenever. And she, as a very young 18, 19-year-old, met the ADC to the Governor General, who was a chap called Tim Illingworth, my father. And they got married in 1962 in the Nakuru Church. And then the whole family came back in 1963 at independence, 63, 64. Anyway, so that was that side of the story.
Right.
And then my father was posted back to Kenya as the commander of the British Army Training Staff in Karen, from where we heard about Karen Camp in Fanara. He was posted back there in 1978 on the back of a holiday which we'd all had in 1977. We didn't know we were going there. And this was at the time when President Kenyatta, he died, and there was a speculation the country was going to inflame. But President Moi came in and was hugely successful, as you know, and thankfully there was no dramas along those lines. And so we went out to a wonderful 2.5 years, living in Karen, but working my father was working in Kahawa, which you will know only too well. And during that time, he and I and the family travelled all around the training areas of Dol Dol, Isiolo. You've been up to Archer's Post, Gilgil, Thompson's Falls, and all the fabulous parts of the world. But this was all part of the job, to go and recce the training areas and keep in touch with the friends and family they'd met when they were out there in the 1960s. And I've been out there since then on 5 or 6 different trips because we train up in Nanyuki.
Most of the British Army has
Absolutely.
passed through them,
And I have helicopters which are training out there, which we put up there. But my lasting story of my connection is that my grandfather, whilst he was working in Nakuru, he bought some land outside Thika, where he developed a coffee farm. And he has, albeit it's now in the hands of some serious hedge funds, a plot of land, about 1,000 acres, of AAA coffee, Kenyan coffee, which we have a very small share in still. And
You know Mr. Boswell. Boswell is from UK. He was my boss when I was working in Nairobi, but
Right.
he was in Hami, that Hami. The one I think your dad was, your grandpa was.
yeah.
Because also he has a farm at Kericho for tea, and Thika for coffee.
Really?
Right, yeah.
Well, it's a huge expanse of wonderful coffee there.
Right.
But right now, the Kenyan coffee is not doing as well as we would hope. It's still, I mean, you go to Starbucks,
Yeah.
you can get Kenyan coffee. You can see it there.
Yes.
But the problem is that the wonderful coffee bean from Kenya has been taken to Vietnam and has been planted there
Yeah.
and has been made into, cheap coffee. Where you and I know that there is only one coffee to have. It's proper Kenyan
Right.
coffee. But sadly, it's not quite got that. You can't market it as quickly as the Vietnamese.
So you are most welcome to Machakos, where I plant coffee.
And now Machakos, they plant
Yeah.
coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they did. How recently have they been planting coffee and growing coffee down there?
From 1960s.
So quite recently, relative to
1960s.
Rather recent.
Yeah.
60s, 70s.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to
Yeah.
hear.
60s, 62. Yeah, that time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you want down waiting in the
Come on,
shade?
let's
Because I think they might not be here for another 5 or 10 minutes.